Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Joe and Joe Weather Show on this Tuesday night, the 22nd of June. And the Joe and Joe Weather Show brought to you by Omni True Value Hardware at 1226 North Wellwood Avenue in West Babylon, New York, on Long Island, 631-756-1125 for the best prices in town on hardware, mulch, topsoil, or emergency supplies because we get into hurricane season. So head over to Omni or give them a call. And the website is omnitruevalue.com. Wholesale Holiday Lighting by Giannini. They're your holiday lighting specialist that they can meet all your decorating needs, whether it is that you want your home decorated to be the best house on the block, or you want to do this as a business so you can make somebody else's house the best house on the block. Give them a call. They're at 631-957-5106 at 162 Ocean Avenue in Lindenhurst, New York, also on Long Island. And the website is liholidaylighting.com. So, Mr. Rayo, there you go.
Turned out pretty much how we were talking about yesterday when I had asked you, what did you think about the temperatures today, and we both agreed that once the front moved on through, and it looked like it moved on through between 7 and 8 this morning across the immediate tri-state area, and once that front came on by, down went the temperatures. The highs today, Joe, very deceptive in many locations, generally in the lower and middle 70s. Central Park, high temperature today was 78, but that was about 7 this morning. Come mid-afternoon or early afternoon, the temperatures across the area were generally in the 60 to 65 degree range. Quite cool because the front, as it moved on by, shifted the winds over and brought in a much cooler airflow into the region. Also, the humidities, the dew point temperatures dropped off a bit, so it's not as icky and sticky as what we had for the last couple of days. And this is all setting us up now for at least 2, maybe even 3 gorgeous days. Definitely tomorrow and Thursday are going to be gorgeous. Friday, maybe a little cloudier than tomorrow and Thursday, and maybe a little bit more humid, but still not a bad day either. So we have paid the price for, some very, very nice weather through the rest of this week with a couple of not so nice days yesterday, humid and sticky, and last night thundery and tornado-y, if that's a word, for
I saw that
parts
tornado.
of Westchester, Orange, and Rockland.
I saw that tornado warning last night just as I was falling asleep.
Yeah, it was the tornado warning went up at about 10 o'clock last night, or 9:45 until 10:30 in the evening. And where I am, we didn't really have all that much. I mean, we had some loud thunder, some bright flashes of lightning. The main effects seem to be centered over the central and north central portions of Westchester. But I don't think that the National Weather Service has confirmed any tornadic activity that occurred as a result of last night's tornado warning. So there you go.
A little bit different on Long Island today. It got to 82 at Islip. Long Island was sitting actually in a bit of a warm sector this morning with sunshine up until about 11 o'clock or so. And then, of course, that actually set up something rather rare. There was a thunderstorm, at least reported. I'm looking at MacArthur Airport's odds. So they were at 10 a.m. they were at 81. At 11 a.m. they were 82. The wind had just shifted to the north, and then it went to 79 at noon. At 1 o'clock they had a thunderstorm, and the temperature dropped 10 degrees in that 1 hour to 69, and just eventually settled down into the low 60s. 0.89 inches of rain so far. And I saw Bill Uber message me earlier that he had over an inch where he is in north central Long Island, not too far from Rocky Point. And I'm just kind of lost my place there for a moment. And there's still maybe another hour or two of rain on the radar for Long Island, but then it should be ended shortly. And yes, Wednesday and Thursday should be, they're pretty much going to be carbon copies of what we had last week on Wednesday and Thursday. So it seems to be rolling along. The only thing I would say with regards to the upper air pattern with this one's a little bit different, even though we have this deep trough that's up and down the East Coast. Well, it's actually much further to the west. It's going to lift out a little bit faster. I had about an inch and a half of rain overnight and into this morning till about 10 o'clock. I'm in North Georgia, in case anybody doesn't know. Um, and then it broke out wide open, mostly sunny early this afternoon. Deep blue skies. The dew points. I didn't even check to see what the dew points actually are here, but I have to tell you, it was incredibly comfortable. And just as the show is going on the air, Joe, I'm not that much. I'm not a whole lot warmer than you are. I'm 69. Uh, uh,
Yeah.
it was a nice breeze. We had a nice gusty wind here. Uh, it reminded me of weather that we probably had back maybe about a month or so ago, in terms of when it should, when it was, when it might have been a little more seasonal. So, what's really odd is here we are, the 22nd of June. I have actually had, I don't think I've gone to 90 degrees yet here. So,
Yeah.
I'm trying to pull up the
Yeah, up here
obs.
we here in Putnam Valley, we've had at least 5 90+ days, and in fact, 4 or 5 of them were indeed in a row. So yeah, so we're ahead of you, Joe,
Way ahead,
in terms of way ahead.
way ahead.
It's amazing,
I'm just going to
amazing.
check. But now I'm 2,200 feet up, so that helps. But for some reason, it's refusing to recognize my zip. Oh, it finally did. Okay, so the airport right now is 72, and the airport's northwest of me, so by about 15 miles. So they're 72, and their elevation there is 1,900 feet. So I have an extra 100 feet on them. And I just wanted to see how low the dew points did get. And let's see. Yeah, so uh, 11, 10. Yeah, actually, our dew points dropped into the low 60s overnight into early this morning, and they just kept on dropping after that. So right, 55 was the dew point about an hour and a half ago. So I'm enjoying some absolutely gorgeous weather here, and I'm going to have a gorgeous stay here tomorrow too. So we'll all revel in it. I was in the same frontal boundary that you're in, and now I'm going to be in the same cooler air mass that you're going into.
Isn't that amazing? And tomorrow, according to the GFS Moss, the 18Z GFS Moss, the high temperature tomorrow should be around 73 degrees in New York City, with a dew point of 37. And I think that probably corresponds to like a relative humidity of about 25 or 28%, something ridiculously low, something you don't often see during the latter days of June. But that's the kind of day we're on tap for tomorrow, and probably deep blue skies and brilliant sunshine. Very, very unusual.
Yeah. Mr. Ruben Fairchild is with us tonight, Joe, and he asks, "Don't I own a weather station?" Actually, I have. I actually own two weather stations here, and they're both broken.
Yeah.
And I just have not had even, any want or desire to fix them right at the moment. Um, one is uh, one is an AccuRite, and it's sitting on my deck, and it was left here by the prior owners, but they didn't leave all the other stuff that went with it. So I'm at a loss of how to figure out how to make that one work. And then I got one sent to me. I'm not going to say who sent it to me, but I got one sent to me by a company that was putting out these weather stations. And they wanted me to try it and write them a review. So the first one they sent me, and it operates on a solar battery, so you don't have to do anything. You just have to stick it out there in the sun. That worked for about, I don't know, 3 or 4 days, and then it stopped working. So I sent it back. Right. So I sent it back, and they sent me another one. So this one lasted long enough for me to write a positive review on the product, and 2 days after that, it stopped working. So it's just sitting
Oh
here. I've been
dear.
trying to figure out what the problem is. Uh, but I got to a point where it's like I'm not doing this anymore. So I'll just use the I'll just look up the Blairsville station until I get the inspiration to get these things straightened out. Meanwhile, oh, the satellite just decided to refresh itself. This is what happens, folks, when you have a deep trough, and just kind of mentioning the fact that my weather is about the same as yours. The trough is very, very deep here, running down right along about 90 degrees west is where the axis of the trough is. So you've got all these clouds running up from the Gulf of Mexico up the eastern seaboard. So I was in the same rain area that you were in eastern Pennsylvania to southern New England. And now, of course, the dry air that follows that, and that's all in here. That's going east, but it's actually gone more south than east, which is why, because of where the trough is and how deep it is. The other thing that's going to make this a little different from the last time is, if you recall, the last time the trough just kind of moved along and moved off the east coast. So the whole body of the trough just kind of came on through, which brought the core of that cool, dry air into the northeast and mid-Atlantic states. But this time around, because the trough axis is so far to the west, it actually is going to lift up west and north of the northeast and mid-Atlantic states. So instead of getting 3 or 4 dry days, you're really only going to wind up with 2 really comfortable days, and then the humidity is going to start coming back up. I was looking, Joe, at the dew points. Some of the dew point forecasts for Saturday, they're going to be, well up into the 60s to near 70. So as nice as it's going to feel over the next 2 days is about as miserable as it's going to feel humidity-wise on Saturday.
Well, I've seen a lot worse than what is being forecast in terms of humidity and dew points for the weekend. But yeah, when you get used to dew points in the 30s and 40s, and all of a sudden you're subjected to dew points in the mid 60s, yes, that could be a rather tough thing to accept. But that's what we're looking at. And right now, it doesn't look like there's going to be very much in the way of shower activity. There might be a pop-up shower or storm on Saturday and again on Sunday, but certainly the weekend does not look like a washout. It's just going to be, again, a bit on the muggy side for all those who are planning to spend some time out of doors. Like my wife and a number of other people, there's going to be a little outdoor fair that is going to be taking place at my son's home on Saturday. And it's going to run right through the hottest part of the day and the most muggy time of the day. But, you do what you can in the summertime. Sometimes these lovely air masses come in on a weekend, like what we're going to see tomorrow and on Thursday. And there are other times when you get mugged, and that's basically what's going to happen to most of us on the weekend.
A couple of things of note on the satellite is, because the frontal boundary is so far to the south, it's got most of northern Florida and the lower part of the Gulf states immersed in clouds and showers and thunderstorms and downpours, and then they kind of curl back down into around the coastal bend of Texas into Mexico, and you see all the blowups there. You can also see the blowups of thunderstorms on the over the Greater Antilles going on. With the thunderstorms developing during this afternoon, you see the blow-off tops there blowing south from north to south down into the Northwest Caribbean. So, getting that those tropical downpours that they get on those islands during the afternoon and evening. Clouds coming in from the Pacific are rolling into the southwest, cutting down on the sunshine. The heat wave there, the super heat wave, if you want to call it that, has eased. And it certainly helps that they're getting some moisture coming in from off the Pacific and streaming on up into as far north as parts of Idaho, Oregon, and even Washington State. A few thunderstorms blowing up in parts of eastern Nebraska and over into Iowa. And we have a little bit of severe weather risk going on there. We also have a little bit of severe weather risk going on in the Carolinas. I'm going to pull up the radar here. This is just give this a quick refresh. Just want to make two mentions, two important mentions here. So the chairman, Scott Briller, his mom wound up with a broken pelvis and didn't even fall. Scott said the doctor said that he's seen what she has usually from people who have had car accidents. So somehow she she has a fractured pelvis. So we want Mother Briller to rest up and get better quick, uh, because Scott is not having it as far as you being off your feet is concerned. So get well soon. And I just want to also mention, Joe, you will remember Joe Gaffney of West Babylon. Uh,
Yes.
back in the days of the early days of News 12, he was a regular weather observer that would call on a daily basis. Joe and I go back, God, almost go to 1986, so the better part of 34 years. And every once in a while, Joe does show up on the watching the show and on the chat board. He had COVID back months ago, and he still has not completely recovered from it. So he's dealing with some health issues, some medical issues because of that. So we just wanted to send Joe our very best and hope that you recover quickly and soon and get back on the chat board. Okay. So I just wanted to
We met.
go
We
ahead.
we met actually at a library talk I gave at the North Babylon Library. That was one that you were going to do, Joe, and then you passed that on to me. That was in August of 2019, and Joe was one of the people who showed up at the library to hear my presentation, and so it was nice getting a chance to place the face. I'm wondering whether or not, well, I don't see him on the chat board now, but besides News 12 Long Island, I'm wondering also if Joe Gaffney was, I believe he was a WOR weather observer for Bill Corbell, and maybe even going further back with Dr. Bob back in the early 70s. So anyway, that's neither here nor there now, I
Yeah.
guess.
I'm gonna pull up the radar. In the meantime, since you're the baseball person here, Keith James II wanted to know what the weather is going to be like in Chicago on Saturday because he's going to be at the White Sox game on Saturday afternoon. So you look at that,
Oh,
and I'll bring the radar up because the rain is moving on. The back edge now has exited New York City and is just about through central Long Island. And you can see it here. Fairly solid area of rain with a few heavier downpours in there. And of course, the thunderstorms that developed this morning in the warm sector right off the New Jersey coast, and then they moved northeastward over Long Island around midday, and then just put down the rains that they put down. Now all of that is, of course, moved on up to the northeast. You can see there's rain all the way up through the great state of Maine, but most of the steady, heavier rain is closer to the coast than anything else. And then as we move southward, you see the front is now pushing into eastern North Carolina with some heavy downpours and a couple of thunderstorms going on in the Outer Banks and over eastern North Carolina. The front is offshore in South Carolina and into South Georgia, and it's been, raining on and off throughout central and northern Florida. We've got a couple of special marine warnings up at the moment. You see some echoes there along the immediate Gulf Coast from the Florida Panhandle, from about, say, Pensacola all the way west to Baton Rouge in Louisiana. Some stronger storms offshore. Then we also have some showers down here in South Texas. Further north and northwest, heading into the southwest, Joe, there's rain moving into southern Arizona. Not too shabby looking a radar here either from all that Pacific moisture. They're getting rain there. Probably, it looks like they had some rain in Tucson and maybe some rain headed over for Phoenix. I wonder if it's like rain in 92 over there. Also,
oh,
rain in the Southern California deserts and mountains happening, and scattered showers up through parts of Colorado. And you can see also seeing some showers and some thunderstorms. There's something you don't see in the northwestern corner very often. The northwestern corner in Nevada, there's a severe thunderstorm warning up even as we speak. So, getting, I mean, it's a little bit with the drought situation going on in the West, but it's better than nothing, and at least they're getting something out of this. The Storm Prediction Center for this evening. There's actually 5 areas of risk, all small. Eastern North Carolina, that's almost done. The east coast of Florida cuts westward into the state in half. a small area in northeastern New Mexico, in eastern New Mexico, a marginal to slight risk in eastern Nebraska and in through parts of western Iowa, and a marginal risk covering the eastern half of the state of Oregon. So we've got all these little risk areas, but nothing really uh, widespread or even covering a large area of geography. For tomorrow, it's marginal to slight risk in the Central Plains and on up through northern Minnesota. Notice the Northeast, Mid-Atlantic, and a good portion of the Southeast will not see any thunderstorms tomorrow, and that includes where I am. And day 3, which is Thursday, from northeastern Mississippi, northern Alabama, North Georgia, northern South Carolina, north and east, all the way up to Maine. No thunderstorms are forecast, but we do have a large area of slight risk in the Central Plains and the middle to upper Mississippi Valley, with marginal risk going up into Wisconsin. Now, do you have that Chicago White Sox forecast
Yes.
for Saturday?
I'm sorry to say, at least from this vantage point, Keith James II, that as far as the weather for Chicago Saturday afternoon, it is my impression that there's going to be quite a bit of shower and thunderstorm activity. In fact, while the Storm Prediction Center has predictability too low for day 4, which I believe is Saturday, I would say that, in my humble opinion, there's going to be a threat for some strong to severe thunderstorm activity in and around the Chicago area come Saturday in the afternoon and evening as a cold front slowly works its way in from the north and west. Temperatures will be right around 80, but it looks like also the air is going to be rather juicy. So I'm thinking of a muggy, humid type of air mass for Saturday in place over Chicago, with the threat building as the day wears on for showers and possibly some strong thunderstorm activity as well. Not the kind of weather forecast you'd want to hear if you're planning to be at the ballpark for one of the summer pastimes great games coming up involving the Chicago White Sox. I guess they still call it Comiskey Park, unless they sold the name to a conglomerate or some sort of a consortium or whatever. But to me, it's always been Comiskey Park for the White Sox and Wrigley Field for the Cubs. No matter which way you slice it, though, I don't think the weather is too promising for Saturday afternoon for Mr. James. Sorry about that.
I'm just I'm trying to answer my own question about whether it's 92. No, Phoenix right now is 106 and clear. They're
Oh,
106 with a west wind at 20, a dew point of 45, visibility of 10 miles. But they do have, their forecast is for a chance of showers and thunderstorms before 4 a.m., and then a slight chance of showers and thunderstorms after 5 a.m. And they actually have showers and storms in the forecast for tomorrow with a high of 102. Must be the extra
oh
clouds.
God.
And 20% tomorrow night, then sunny on Thursday with a high of 104. I also noticed that in the Northwest, let me bring up the map again. It looks like, with the way the ridge is set up now, it looks like the hot weather, while it's hot where it's supposed to be hot, but it's normal hot. Okay, it's not out of control hot. But in Washington State, almost all of Washington State, and I think Seattle might be included in this. Just the coastal counties are not. We've got excessive heat watches up. Okay, so I just want to take a look and see. I'm always curious to see what places that I don't normally look at, when they have unusual weather going on, to take a look. Yeah, that includes Seattle. So let's see what Seattle's forecast is. So they're 78, which for Seattle is excessive. 78 with a dew point of 62 and a west-northwest wind. Yeah, they got an excessive heat watch, but they're only going for, I guess it depends on where you are, because this observation is right near the water. So they're going for 58 tonight, 78 tomorrow, 57 tomorrow night, 80 on Thursday. That's hardly excessive. Oh, I see what they did. Okay, so this is actually for the weekend. So they've got 86 for Friday, but then they're going 96 for Saturday, 97 for Sunday, and 94 for Monday. So the excessive heat watch is
Oh God.
for the weekend. Okay, now that makes it clear. That's unusual to put it up. It's Tuesday night, and they have a watch up for Saturday, which is the fourth day in the forecast period. That's going out there. Usually they don't do that. I mean, usually the offices don't do that.
Well, the Weather Prediction Center has tweeted um, a, uh, a notation: major heat wave expected across much of the Pacific Northwest and Northern California for this weekend and the beginning of next week. And they're showing a map here, the expected afternoon high temperatures Sunday and their departure from late June averages. And I can see, Joe, yeah, Seattle 96. It looks like they have Portland, Oregon, looks like 102.
Ooh.
103 degrees in Spokane. Another spot in Washington, 107, 105. This is not going to be the weekend you want to be in the normally cool Pacific Northwest, because it's not going to be cool. It's just going to be downright cruel, especially if you don't have access to any air conditioning. My goodness.
Oh.
Ooh.
Rainfall wise on WPC, next to nothing in the next 7 days from the interiors of North Carolina on up into central New England, Joe. Less than a tenth of an inch of precip being forecast. Now, the next frontal, because we're going to have we're going to have a strong ridge that's going to build south of Nova Scotia and Newfoundland and kind of arc back westward into New England. So it makes sense that there's going to be very little rain in the zone that WPC has. It also makes sense that there's going to be a stalled frontal boundary for a few days from northeast Oklahoma on up into the northern lakes. Quite a bit of rain is being forecast on the order of 3 to 5 inches worth in the parts of northern Missouri, central Illinois, western Indiana, uh, rains of 2 to 3 inches or more up around Chicago, northeast into Michigan, and then on up into southeastern Canada. Quite a bit there. So you can see where the frontal boundary is, where the ridge is, going to set up along the east coast. You line it up with the rain area, so you're going to have a high that's kind of like this, wedged down into the mid-Atlantic states, and a stalled frontal boundary. Like, it's hard to see red on red, but just it's easier for me to do it this way than to change the color. But you get the idea here, folks. The stalled frontal boundary is going to be sitting north and west. Also seeing some light precip. We're talking a tenth of an inch or less in Nevada, Utah, although some areas in Utah getting as much as a quarter to a half an inch. Whoa, let's have a party for that. In Arizona, anywhere from a tenth to a quarter of an inch, but a few pockets getting a half. Some heavier precip, though, in the central and southern Rockies. So there's good news, at least for those areas that are dry, up to an inch or more being forecast over the next 7 in that particular zone. So Florida, we should also give a mention to with southwest Florida getting several inches in the next week, and slightly lesser amounts, but an inch and a half plus going up and down the Florida west coast and much of the state except for the immediate east coast. But there too, rainfall amounts are going to be about an inch or so over the next 7 days. So we're at the last weekend, Joe, of June. The calendar is moving along here. Half the year is almost over.
Arizona's monsoon season could go either way this year. It's still too early to tell whether the state will experience a particularly drier or wetter than average monsoon season, according to National Weather Service meteorologist in Arizona, Phoenix, Arizona, Mark O'Malley. He says that presents an interesting change of pace from last year, given that Arizona experienced its driest monsoon season on record for the second year in a row. The 2020 summer, one of the hottest summers on record, with an average rainfall rate of 1.51 inches across the great state of Arizona. Now, I was talking about this a couple of weeks ago. In Arizona, monsoon season officially begins on June the 15th and runs through September 30th. Moisture from Mexico creeps up into southern Arizona in the middle of June, and as the season progresses, they see the moisture continue to spread to the north. But at this time, according to Mr. O'Malley, there are no signals, no climate signals present for the Weather Service to determine just what kind of a monsoon season it's going to be. So there's an equal chance that this year's monsoon season might either be might be in the either category, either too dry or too wet. They're just not they're not sure about that. So I know that doesn't give you much details on what they're experiencing now or in the coming days ahead, but it does tell you that the monsoon season is now open in Arizona. And from time to time, and I guess over the next couple of days, they're going to see examples of that. There will be showers and a few local downpours and some thunderstorms occurring from the moisture that again creeps northward out of Mexico into the desert Southwest at this time of the year.
And by the way, that rain, I have the upper air on the screen now on the GFS, looking at the whole North America view. There's an upper low that is sitting off the coast of California that's creating a southerly flow from off the Pacific into Southern California, Arizona, Utah, Nevada. So it's no shock here that you're getting some Pacific moisture that is streaming northward. And meanwhile, you can also see the flow here if you follow the jet stream from the Arctic region down into Western Canada. Of course, this time of year, this air is dry and it's not really particularly cold. By the time it gets here, it warms up as much as it can, but it does warm up. And but it is bone dry, and you can see that the trough goes all the way down into southern Georgia and south, just off the South Carolina coast is where the base of the trough is. And also, I drew the line that runs from Hudson Bay to western New York, and that's where the axis of the trough is tomorrow morning. That's what makes this one different than the last one, because it's already lifting out, and then it just pulls away. And meanwhile, a development here is this ridge that is forming south of Nova Scotia and Newfoundland. And that is trying to build back westward, and that's going to allow things to turn warmer and more humid, especially as we get into the weekend. The flow in Canada kind of retreats. It sort of pulls up a little bit. There's still a bit of a remnant upper low sitting there near San Francisco on Friday. And then going into the weekend, that ridge kind of migrates westward toward Cape Cod. And you see it there on Sunday afternoon. There's an upper high southeast of Cape Cod and an upper low that is in the Dakotas. Might be some kind of severe, but there might be a severe weather outbreak with that in the Plain States come Sunday. And that upper high continues to migrate westward, Joe. It's by Monday, it's centered over New York City, and then it gradually begins to weaken after that. But it takes its time doing so, and that a trough right here later next week drops down into eastern Canada. Maybe that's enough to push a cold front through. Looks like it should be because our flow does turn northwest, but we're not seeing another deep trough after this one. So we're getting a little bit of a pattern change here. Troughing kind of lingers there in the plains through for the 4th of July, and we've got a ridge here along the East Coast. So if you want to take an early peek in the long range as far as the 4th of July weekend is concerned, it actually doesn't look too bad. Looks pretty good, in fact, if this verifies. Then that trough lifts out, and the westerlies pull up into Canada. And then another trough swings around and maybe tries to bring another cold front through, but nothing like what we're seeing. We're not seeing a trough going all the way down into the southeastern part of the United States. If we were seeing troughs that deep in July, I'd be concerned. In June.
Well, there's some indications from the Climate Prediction Center, Joe, that the northeastern part of the country is going to be heating up in the next 6 to 10 and even 8 to 14 days. So maybe, just maybe, after that last trough kind of lifts out, that we'll begin to see a pattern more akin to what a lot of people would expect for the month of July as we head closer to that month in terms of heat and, yes, maybe even humidity. But certainly it has not been very typical for the month of June with all of these nice, cool, dry air masses such as the one that's going to descend upon our area tomorrow. Well, actually, it's already descended with the lower temperatures and the dropping dew point temperatures. But tomorrow and Thursday, again, atypical for what you would normally expect for the hazy, warm, and well, as you pointed out last week, June is one of the 3 hottest month or warmest months of the year, hence meteorological summer. But it has not really felt that way, at least not all that many times so far
No.
this month of June.
And of course, it's going to be down in the 50s tomorrow morning in most places, and maybe even some upper 40s in cool spots. So yeah, that's a little unusual for. Well, we're almost into late. We're going into late June now. Just checking out the GFS here. I don't know why it kind of spins up a little low there off North Carolina Thursday afternoon. It doesn't amount to much. And I was looking at the satellite simulations from this, and it keeps all the clouds offshore. So I'm just going to kind of ignore it, unless we wind up seeing a few clouds coming in on Friday, which is not out of the question. But then Saturday, we just kind of take over with that upper high and the surface high building back southwestward. Our winds become southwest. You can see the frontal boundary where all the showers go, coming out of the plains and running up to the Great Lakes, and then another wave that follows after that. So that's where all the rain is going to be going into early next week, while we'll sit with this high off the East Coast, and it's going to be very warm to borderline hot and humid starting from Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Oh, come on, load already. Wednesday, it's still not through here on Wednesday. Finally, next Thursday, of course, it's early. The model could adjust. Next Thursday, we do see some kind of cold front moving through, and that's on going into day 9 in the long range. And before anybody says anything, yeah, that's the models have been trying to do something with the system in the Northwest Caribbean for the last several days or longer, and they're still at it here. I think one run today skipped it and didn't show anything, but then it's back to showing something coming out of the Northwest Caribbean and into the Gulf of Mexico just in time for the 4th of July holiday weekend. But who knows? It's still not inside our day 5 time frame. And with respect to the Hurricane Center, I just want to really quick punch them up. And they still have this disturbance east of the Windward Islands, 10% probability of development in the next 5 days. That nothing's going to come of that. That's going to run into the westerly shear in the Eastern Caribbean, and we can just sort of say goodbye to that particular system. So I want to also say, by the way, Scott Briller hit super. That was one of the missing ones last night too. Scott Briller hitting super chat last night. So thanks to the chairman, and again, get better, Mother Briller. Please get better. Okay.
Mother Briller.
Yes, exactly.
It sounds like it reminds me of Jackie Gleason's Mother Fletcher's Fazzaroni cheese. By the way, 42 degree projected low temperature tomorrow morning at Montgomery in Orange County, the airport
Lord.
there. 42 degrees, and not far behind Monticello and Poughkeepsie, respectively, with 44 and 45. So if you want cool temperatures,
nuts.
You're going to get it tonight. Open those windows if you want those cool temperatures.
Hey, I may have to
break out my flannel pajamas tonight.
I can't complain because my electric bill was and I have my thermostat set to 72, so it does. My air conditioning does come on, but my electric bill last month was $59. So.
Oh, Joe! Wow.
I'm waiting I'm actually waiting to see when I get the July bill, because that I would think that we're going to be up near 90 almost on most days. I'll be curious to see what my bill will be. But I've been running AC on and off since beginning of May. So far it hasn't had any impact.
Well, here I'm not even going to tell you what my bill is, but NYSEG has a very funny game that they've been playing with us, and the game is this: that they haven't sent someone to look at the meter in quite a few months, and so when we get a bill, we
Oh, you're
check
getting the
immediately to
estimate?
see the estimated bill versus the actual bill.
Right.
And lo and behold, the estimated bill on their behalf always turns out to be somewhere between 2 to 3 times more than what the actual is. And they claim that they're sending somebody here on July the 1st to actually physically look at the meter. But this has got to, I think there's some program where you can actually take a picture of the
Yeah.
meter and have them send
Yeah.
it to them and have them diagnose what the numbers actually mean, because this is ridiculous. It really
PSC
is.
that happened to me. PSC&G said they couldn't get in to read my meter in my yard on Long Island. They couldn't get in, which is nonsense. Of course they could get in. They just didn't. Whoever it was didn't bother to go in. So I got something in the mail from them that said, that I needed to take a picture of the meter and send it in, and that if they didn't get it within 5 minutes, I would get a $50 penalty. Joe, literally, I got it in the mail. And I don't know whether I got it late or what, but I basically got it on the day that they said that the meter reading was due, and if I didn't send it, they were going to send me money, a bill for $50 on top of the 2-month $700 electric bill that I used to have for the months of June and July. So, but that's my days with those people are over with, thankfully.
Yes.
I don't have a
Thankfully,
I don't
yes.
have a smart meter here, by the way, Christinapedia. I don't know. They come in. I don't know if they come and read the meter, or maybe they do have a smart meter, and they can read it themselves. I've never seen anybody come here to read the meter, and I'm getting actual billing readings. So maybe it is a smart meter. I'll have to check. I'll have to find out. I better hope it is, because I hate to think I'm paying estimated bills and then I'm going to get hit with something, a whopper. But the electricity here is cheaper. I'm on a co-op for this town and for the neighboring town, so the electric bills here are very low, as I've been told, and so are the propane bills, which is even nicer.
Right.
So
right.
Anyway, I don't have a Briller Jeopardy tonight. Do you?
I believe I do.
Oh,
and
you
I
do?
will get to it in just. I think I do. I believe I do. I do. Let's go to profile. I know that you just love the new format that Facebook has, and how you have to go through.
Well,
you have to go through a variety of different machinations in order to get what you used to be able to get in 5 seconds.
Right. No. I did like it when they initially changed it back, and then they changed it again, and then they changed it yet again. So we're going now 2 changes ago, and
right.
I was using a lot of these tools that Facebook has with regards to websites and everything, publishing websites and everything else, and nothing works. And then I went to their support page because I've got a business account with them. So I went to their support page. That doesn't work. So I actually can occasionally get a human being. So I went to try to send them a message. It didn't work. Then there was another thing that came up. You qualify for this. This Facebook thing. Okay, you qualify for this. And it says click here to accept terms and conditions. That doesn't work. But it's filled with people who are very opinionated. I will say that.
Well, what are you going to do?
I know. It sucks.
I have before me, sealed in a hermetically sealed mayonnaise jar, today's Briller Jeopardy for Mr. Joe, Mr. Movie Man Chiaffi.
Oh boy.
Another top 10 movie debut for Mr. Chiaffi, but with a new twist.
Okay.
If you can get 8 correct, guess within 3 years for each movie debut, You can choose a prize behind door number 1, door number 2, or door number 3. Are you
Oh,
ready?
okay. So I have to guess the
And
year.
you have to guess the year of the movie debut, starting with the movie that won the first Academy Award for Best Picture, and that was Wings.
Wings, 1927.
Right on the nose. Amazing. Here's number 2. Whack, whack, soup, duck soup.
Marx Brothers,
Which
Duck
I have to tell you,
Soup.
which I have to tell you was done by the Marx Brothers back in
Right.
whatever. Yeah.
Uh, Marx Brothers, Duck Soup. I'm going to say 1934.
Off by just one. It was 1933. How about this one, Joe? North by Northwest.
Oh, I love North by Northwest. 1956.
You're within the bounds, although you're at the edge of the bounds. Within 3 years, 1959.
9. Okay, I wasn't. Yeah.
All right.
I should have flipped the 6 and the 9. Go on.
All right. The Man Who Knew Too Much.
Oh, that was with Jimmy Stewart. Well, there were two Men Who Knew Too Much. There was one with Jimmy Stewart and Doris Day, and I believe that was in 1954. And
You
then
don't have to continue. Yeah.
yeah, no, and then there was, but the Hitchcock also did that with Peter Lorre, and I've never seen that. I've only seen bits of that one, and I believe that might have been 1937 or 38. But yeah,
Well, you got the one the Jimmy Stewart one is obviously the one that Scott was referring to because in 1954, right on the nose.
that's one of my. I have to tell
Maybe
you, the scene. There's a scene in there where I hate to give. I'm not going to give it away, but a murder's about to be committed. Doris Day knows the murder is about to be committed. It's going to be committed in conjunction with an orchestra playing, and it's a very very long. And it's Storm. The name of the piece that they're playing in the Albert Hall is Storm something cantata. It's basically about a thunderstorm. Okay, and the thing is, it runs about that the piece runs about 8 minutes. So you know the murder. You know that someone's going to get is going to be killed, or they're going to try to kill somebody, and you're waiting. The suspense is it's a great suspense scene, uh, and that's all I'll say about it. I love that movie. It's very good.
well, number 4 on the list here is The Man Who Knew Too Much.
That's what we just did.
We just did that?
Yeah,
I'm sorry. We'll move on to
1954.
number 5.
Okay.
Right. Move on to number 5. They say it was Groundhog Day. Number 5, Strangers on a Train.
That was with I always confuse Stuart Granger and Farley Granger. So that's Farley Granger, Ruth Roman. Um, his daughter Patricia played the other female supporting lead. The actor who played Topper, Leo G.
Oh,
Carroll,
Leo G. Carroll?
was in it too.
Leo G. Carroll.
So
yeah.
I'm going to say 1952.
You were off by just 1951.
Okay.
Right. I was thinking that you were going to, mix up Strangers on a Train for Strangers in the Night, but that was something completely different. Number 6. I remember this. Chitty Chitty Bang Bang.
Oh God. Oh, ew. Oh. You know what? I'm going to take a wild guess here. 1967.
Off by just one, 1968.
Oh God, that was good. I just remember
Number
it
7 on.
seeing as a kid. Bang bang, chitty chitty bang bang, chitty chitty bang bang. We love you. Never saw the movie.
I remember a commercial.
Yeah.
I remember a commercial on TV with a chitty chitty bing bing, chitty chitty bing bong, chitty bing bing, and then somebody just takes a gunshot and shoots the guy who was trying to say it, and he's like bang bang, boom. Try that on a politically incorrect scale today, right?
Right.
It's number seven. Number seven, An Affair to Remember.
Okay. That is Cary Grant, Deborah Kerr and Cary Grant, which is a remake of Irene Dunn and oh my God, I can't believe its name is on the tip of my tongue now. Oh God. Oh, this is killing me. I can't believe I don't. His face is right in front of me, and I've lost his name. He was with Ingrid Bergman in Gaslight. Anyway, Affair to Remember with Cary Grant and Deborah Kerr. I'm going to say 1965. I don't know.
Oh, Joe.
I'm way
you're
off.
Way off. 1957.
Oh, 57. Oh my God. Yeah, I am way off.
Yes.
Yeah, I was visualizing the movie and
Yeah.
thinking, why am I thinking it's in the 60s? I've seen both of them. Not Charles Boyer.
Charles Boyer was what? Gaslight, right?
Yeah, Charles Boyer was with Irene Dunn in the original. That was done, I think, in the like around 1940-ish or 1939-ish. Not that It wouldn't be 39. I think it was probably either 40 or 41.
All right, now here's one. This is one of my favorite. We talk frequently about Alfred Hitchcock movies, but Hitchcock sometimes likes to use actors and actresses more than once. Tippi Hedren was in this particular movie. Of course, we remember her from The Birds.
Marnie.
But she was also in this movie, Marnie. You remember somebody marries Marnie. She was a thief.
Yes.
And has serious psychological problems.
It's actually, I have to tell you something. Originally, that movie did not play well to critics, but I saw it recently for the third or fourth time. It's gotten over the years, just like Vertigo. Vertigo was not well accepted when it first came out. Now it's considered a masterpiece by a lot of people.
Right.
Marnie also has come up in stature over time. So I'm going to say 1960, and that was also with Sean Connery.
Right. I was going to say that.
63.
Just off by one, Joe. 64.
Okay.
And here's number 9. Boom, 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 boom. Jaws.
75.
75. That's right. I have some good news. We have caught a predator.
Yeah.
You can go to the beach now. Last one, Joe, and we just mentioned this a couple of minutes ago. Gaslight.
Oh, that was Gaslight was with Ingrid Bergman and Charles Boyer, Joseph Cotton,
right?
Dame May Whitty. 1943.
Again, just off by one. 1944. But this is good news, Joe. You got all 10 of them. You got 9 out of 10. We were looking for at least 8. You got that. And now, since you've got at least 8 correct, within 3, you can choose either door number 1, door number 2, or door number 3. Which door tonight, Joe?
Well, since I took door number 2 the last time and it was a disaster, I'm going to take door number 2.
Door number 2. Behind door number 1, you would have received a year's supply of Hamburger Helper. That's
okay,
right.
So we know it's not the gag. I didn't get the gag prize.
No, let's see what was behind door number 3. Had you chose door number 3, Joe, you would have won a 10-day, all expense, it says all expense, not all expenses, all expense trip to Death Valley in August. Daily high 115 degrees.
Nice.
It doesn't say whether or not you end up at a Motel 6 or
So
someplace
what
with
did I
air
win? What
conditioning
did I
or whatever.
win?
You won at door number 2 a cigar every day for 1 year.
Oh, nice. I did get the good
A
prize.
cigar a day.
Hey,
Yes.
hang on.
Except Joe, what he did not mention is that the cigar that you would win for each day of the year in question was a Philadelphia Phillies cigar.
No.
You remember the Phillies cigar?
Yes, I'll take the hamburger helper. And I'd smoke that. Can you hold on for 1 second? I thought it would do this automatically. I had something I wanted to bring up and it didn't. So I have to go grab my phone really quick. So can you hang on 1 second?
Yes.
Hang on.
Sure. And while Joe is gone, let's see if there's anything interesting on the chat board that I've missed out on while I was reading Driller Jeopardy.
Okay, I'm back.
You're back already.
Yeah. Just a moment here. So how am I going to do this? Hang on. Okay. Come on. Come on, you stupid phone, for Christ's sake. Work already. Let's see. Did I save it? I thought I did. Well, it's not here. I'm upset. I thought I saved it. I did. I know I saved it. Oh, here it is. Yeah, I found it. Never mind. Here it comes. Just give me a moment here.
I had an algebra teacher in 9th grade, and in fact, it's not too long ago. In fact, I think we were right around the 50th anniversary when I graduated 9th grade. And I gave my algebra teacher, because every time, and this is something new. This is 50 years ago now. I used to see him these in his shirt pocket. He would have a little box of Philly cigars. And so I bought him Philly cigars for a going away gift when I got his autograph in 1971.
Well,
He loved Philly cigars. Now apparently
that was nice of you.
Yeah, but you treat Philly cigars as if they were like.
It was nice of you to get him the gift. They're god awful cigars. I mean, well, look, no. Let me just hold on. Let me just correct that. Years ago, those cigars actually were pretty decent back in the 60s and in the early 70s. But then they gradually just became second-rate products by the companies who made them, because then they went into the business of premium cigars. So anyway, we have a guest tonight, Joe, a guest appearance by somebody. You're
okay.
So look at your screen, and you should see it here shortly. It'll be popping up now. It should be popping up any second now. Hang on. It should be. There he is. Who's your messiah now? The frog, see?
Oh dear me.
That actually is a still shot that they.
What are you talking about, Moses? What are you talking about, Moses? We have a God of gold. And the girl, you see the girl over there in the back?
Yeah.
Joshua!
All kidding aside, though, Edward G. Robinson is probably among that short list of greatest actors never to have received an Academy Award.
Yeah.
And actually, I'm not 100% sure. I thought he was nominated. I think he only got one nomination, and that was right before he died. It was for a supporting actor nomination, I believe, for Soylent Green.
Soylent Green.
Nothing before that. And some of the movies he did in the 30s, especially, were um, exceptional. I mean, he was certainly a great gangster in the gangster movies that he did.
He was also a good guy on radio. There was a radio show back in the 40s called Big Town, and he played the newspaper editor of Big Town and was fighting for right more than anything else, far away from his gangster persona in the movies. And he was a good guy on at least on the radio on that particular radio show. And then of course he became more legendary for his films, and he kind of dropped the radio persona to become the gangster slash not so nice guy, which he was. He played to a point in the Ten Commandments.
There are two movies that you should see with Edward G. Robinson. If you if you have them, if you just two movies that, I mean, he's known to playing, the gangster role and of course the evil character in the Ten Commandments. But if you want to see him, in a really two excellent roles, in Double Indemnity as the as the insurance company employee that winds up solving the crime of Fred McMurray and Barbara Stanwyck. The whole plot. He's great in that. And here's this one, Joe, is a tearjerker. If you ever get a chance to see it, it's called Our Vines Have Tender Grapes. It's a great movie. You sit there and you will, if you don't cry in this movie, then you have no soul. And and in it is he co-stars with Agnes Moorehead and Margaret O'Brien. Is it as little Margaret O'Brien? It's a great movie.
Mark
So
O'Brien.
our vines have tender grapes. He gives a magnificent performance in that movie. And then there's a movie he did with Jane Wyman. I don't remember the title of it, but he plays a Nazi that's in hiding, and it's a very suspenseful movie. He's also very good in that, but I don't recall the title of that particular
Edward
movie.
G. Robinson playing the role of a Nazi.
Yeah,
That I can't picture.
yeah, but yeah, no, it's a very good movie.
I mean, think about this, Joe. Think about this. Edward G. Robinson. Yeah, Zig Heil.
Yeah, right. No, but in the movie
Yeah.
Our Vines Have Tender Grapes, he's great in it. It's a wonderful movie. It's a wonderful movie. It's about family. It's about
It's
it's a great movie.
it's a wonderful movie. It's a wonderful movie, but he didn't get a nomination for best actor
No,
or
well,
supporting actor.
he was also but he was blacklisted for a number of years. He couldn't get work. He was
Yeah.
part of the whole communist thing with Senator McCarthy and all the rest of it. But
Right. Right. Right.
he was like in the early part of it before it really
Yeah.
got blown wide open in the 50s. But he was blacklisted for a while and he couldn't get work. So anyway, I enjoy those movie ones. I do. So I've seen I think I saw every movie except for Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. I think I think I've seen every movie that was listed that you listed tonight. Plus the fact that
Okay.
plus the fact that it drives Reuben Fairchild off the chat board, so that
And I got to tell you something about Mr. Reuben Fairchild. I mean, he kicked off the night. I took a look at the chat board, and he was taking aim at another on-camera weather personality that he just did not care for. I mean, he doesn't seem to like anybody
except us.
except us. I don't
Except
understand.
us.
Yeah, somebody on that, another News 12 person. He was.
I
He
guess
said
I
I was
guess
so
we,
disgusted with him.
I guess I should
Why
just
do I even bother with that station? Yeah.
I guess I should just continue to bust his chops on a regular basis. He keeps coming back for more.
I know.
But we welcome you with open
I know.
arms. We really do. We welcome you with open arms. I know you want us to be on 7 days a week, 365 days a year. I know that, and then Joe and I really do appreciate it, and but no, that's not happening. Joe has a pool cover to take care of. He can't possibly be doing shows every day.
We
Oh,
spent the night, we spent this evening, my wife and I, we spent the evening trying to get a pool cover into a garbage bag. And I told her, I said, this is like trying to get 2 pounds of bologna in a 1 pound bag.
only 2 pounds? Oh, pool covers are evil.
Yeah,
You get them and they're like, they're in a box like this big, and then after you open it up the first time, you have to actually build a new house in order to put the pool cover in it.
exactly.
It's amazing.
Precisely.
Oh, good Lord.
Precisely.
All right, so you know what? Let's call it a night. Uh, by the way, I see you guys were talking about like getting some phishing emails and stuff. Let me just tell you, I, I think because it happened again to me on Facebook. My Facebook weather page, meteorologist Joe Chaffee, Joe Rayo has his weather page, Joe Rayo Weather. Every week or two, I get what looks like a notification from Facebook, but it isn't, and you know right away because the person the stuff that they write isn't even written in complete sentences. It's ridiculous. So you know right away it's a fake. I actually reported it to Facebook that it was I reported it to Facebook, and I got a message back from Facebook saying that uh, that post does not violate their community standards. So I understand now the game that how Facebook works. If you send out a phishing scam, it's perfectly okay. But if you apparently if you use the word if I use the phrase pig roast, okay, let's say I went to a friend's house at a party last night. My friend had a party last night and he had a pig roast. I would be put in Facebook jail because I used the word pig. That is now a word that you can't use. Pig,
Really?
cow, yeah, because the algorithm picks that up that you're calling somebody fat, that you're bullying somebody by using that word.
I see. I hope my wife is hearing this because her German club, Joe, this is the absolute truth. In July, her German club is having a pig roast. The
Well,
German American Social Club of Peekskill. And what I always do to help out with the publicity, she says, "Can you post something about whatever they're putting on, like a fest or whatever? Can you put it on your Facebook page?" And I always say, "Okay, very very well." So what you're telling me is that if I put a notation that the German American Social Club of Peekskill is having a pig roast at their Putnam Valley clubhouse, that I'm going to be thrown in Facebook jail for a
well,
short time because I use the word.
I'm just someone used the word pig, but it wasn't directed at a person. It was in a totally different and in a perfectly reasonable context. If you read it, it's perfectly fine. And they got thrown into Facebook jail for 30 days because they used that word. And I know somebody else that used the word cow, and same thing. Now it depends on the algorithm. Maybe if you have the word pig next to the word roast, there won't be a problem. But I'm just saying,
Our good
if you do
our good
put it up
friend
and that happens, you'll know why.
our good friend on the chat board, and a good friend of mine, Dennis Cassia, got thrown into Facebook jail from the Honeymooners Facebook club page
Yes.
because he used a quote from the Honeymooners. It was the episode where Alice's sister just gets married and then she breaks up with her
Hmm.
husband literally on the same day, and she comes running to the Crandon's apartment screaming, "All men are beasts." And Dennis used that line on Facebook, and immediately that was a Facebook no, and he learned very quickly you cannot say that. And the algorithm apparently is that if you say beasts or use beasts in any way, you're immediately thrown into jail.
Yeah.
So you
So
got to watch out what you say on Facebook.
yeah, that's why I just don't. I don't even care anymore. about that. So, all right, look, we'll see you tomorrow. It's 8:41 Eastern Time. We'll see you tomorrow at 7:30 Eastern Time right here on the Joe and Joe Weather Show. Thanks, everybody, for being here tonight. And stay well. Enjoy the beautiful weather tomorrow. Nighty-night.
I'm just
What?
I'm looking at the chat. I'm looking at the chat board, and Mark G says Phil Rizzuto would have been put in
Oh, for
Facebook jail
life. Oh,
for
yeah.
life,
Yeah.
for life, and that's that. Absolutely, 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 Mark.
Absolutely.
All right.
Good
Good night,
night.
Good night, everybody.